back, huh?
I think I was just up here. I can't see. All right. The bridges of Washoe Canyon, what we call trestles, but everybody else calls them bridges, so we'll go with bridges. Charlie was saying I should have had a picture of Clint Eastwood up here with that title, and it would have made a good movie, I guess. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at this. If I can get this thing to work. Which button? Okay. Top one? Come on. Huh? This one? That one? There we go. Okay. This is a 1916, 1917 right-of-way map of that was done during the time when the ICC made the railroads do an inventory of all their equipment. And at that time, most of the history we have on this, in this section of bridges, dates from this period of time. There is some information earlier, but not a lot of information. So they were the ones that came in and gave these bridges their numbers. So we have like a 17-C, which is over here on the left-hand side, and then a 17-D, and a 17-E, and a 17-F. So we've got the bridges here. Here's 17F, 17D, or E, 17D right here, and 17C way over here in this corner. So these are the four bridges to the Washoe Canyon. Here's Washoe Lake. Here's the town of Washoe. This little dot right here is the tool house. And back in here is the section house. So basically, and the road that came right through, the old road that came right through here, which is now part of 390, the old 395, I guess. And then it goes on down into Pleasant Valley over this way. And Steamboat Creek comes out through here, and you can see how it wanders down through here and then back around. We walked this back in 1988, a bunch of us on one of our V&T workshops. So if we go to Google, good old Google, we can see this is after the fire, which was about 3 years ago. Here's 395, here's Lower Washoe Lake, here's the town of Washoe, and the railroad comes right through here, comes down the canyon and down through here and out through the valley. So here's 17C, 17D, 17E, and 17F. This is Google, but this was taken before the fire. So you can actually see here's 17F, here's the ride, here's coming down through here, and here's 17E, which is the longest of all the four trestles. A little bit further down the line, here's where the 17D crossed over. Here's the stream going down the Steamboat Creek, and here's the right-of-way coming down. Get around the curve, and right here you'll see the pillars of 17C. Then the Washoe, the Steamboat Creek comes down this way, and here's the right-of-way. This is what it looked like in 1937. Here's the first bridge, which we will call 17F. Now we're going to go south to north, okay? Instead of north to south, we'll go south to north. Here's the tool house that I showed you on that map. You can see the part of the hand cars over here, work cars that the section gang used. There was a section gang that worked here. There was a section gang that worked down in Reno, and then went up to Lakeview. This is a loading platform here that they had. You can see the highway crossing here, and you see how they did their highway crossings in those days. Just laid rail down across the tracks. Telephone poles, here's your telegraph poles over here. And the bridge will be down right about there. This is the section house and the tool house that was located at Washoe. This came off of the 16 evaluation survey, which you can get at UNR Special Collections, and also on Kit's website, the V&T website that he maintains. This came out of a booklet called the 1917 Track Notes, Reno to Washoe, and this is courtesy of Mark Owens, and we have this down at the California State Railroad Museum. This is the little tool house, and the one thing it says here, note on this, it says same as Reno, and actually it's a little bit different than the size of Reno, which we do not have any photographs of the one at Reno, but I think they moved this one, and here it is here, on the other side of the tracks now, over by the siding. Basically looks like the same building, except it has a little lean-to on the back of it. And there is a window in the back. I just saw a picture of that yesterday on eBay, and it has a window in the back also. And here you can see the 18 going down the track. Here's your switch stand. So here's the other view of that tool house. Of course, here's Washoe. The section house would have been up here someplace. And this is the old Washoe building. I think that's still standing. I think part of that is still standing today. So if you look at the ICC reports, it will give you the basic information on what the structure looked like. So this is the 17F. This is the abutment, the cement abutment, and brick. Actually, it's the stone abutment that's there. And then this gives you the information on it. 3-stringer frame, trestle, abutments, and 2 piers, and information like that. Also in 1949, the V&T went back through and did another survey, and this gives some information on how much it would cost to replace that bridge in 1949. So it was like $43 per linear foot. All right. And we'll go through some pictures here. Here's the 27 coming across in 1950 at Ted Warren, Florida. And this is 17F. You can see the stone abutments here. You can see the 2 bents right here. At this time, it has guardrails on the track. No boards on the end of the ties though. And an earlier picture, I think the 1917 survey did not have the guardrails on it. So we'll go through a few pictures here. Another picture of the 27 coming up on the. Actually, this is coming from Reno, going towards Carson City. And some of these are courtesy of Stephen Drew. And here you can see the stone abutment and some of the trestle work. And you'll notice by this time they had replaced some of the bents, and some of the old bents, they just let them land there. They didn't take them out and move them. They just let them land on the track there. It gives you a good idea how the rails went. There's one of the good spikes they got. Fish plates there, of course. This is a vanishing vista photograph. I think that Lyman Cox sells. I think he still sells these too. Of course, this is the 27 and RPO 23 in the background. Now here we have the 2 different views of this bridge that the surveyors did in 1917 and actually starting about 1915 through 1916. This is the track notes that they did, and they went back to their little office, which was probably the V&T number 8 or number 10, the 2 cars that they loaned to them, and then they redrew it. And note here how they got the bents here. One bent a lot shorter than this bent. And this is the way I kind of drew it up the first time. And I showed this to Curtis and said, no, that's not right. He says, if you look at the track notes, they're even. I says, oh, okay. So I went down and picked up the track notes again. And by golly, you can see the 2 differences between what the 2 draftsmen did that were out there surveying the line. Here's some more of the drawings from the track notes. Gives you the dimensions of the abutments and stuff and how long they are. They have the note 17F on there. Here's your bents. It says 2 8x12 by 13.8, and gives you the size, gives you the information. It gives you enough information to kill yourself, basically, when you try to draw it. And this is the drawing that was in our last issue of the Telegraph on this bridge. And this is based on that information. So here's this is from the 1949 survey of the trestles and the bridges, and you can note here that there are some differences between that and what they had in the 1917 survey. Here's that bent that they replaced. They just left it laying there. They put some boards across the bottom. All right, and this is basically what it looked like in 1949. Here's the top of it. This is taken around 1988. I think this is Stephen's photograph here, one of the trips we did on it. This is what it looked like in 1988. Here's a group of us, 1988, looking at it, and here it is here. This is the abutment, and there's the other abutment over here. You can still see the old bent laying right there. This is what it looked like, I think 2 years ago. We got permission to go back in there. This is private property, and they do have no trespassing signs. So if you want to go in there, you have to get permission from the owners to go in there. This is what it looked like. This is this would be the south abutment. Note the nice detail work they did when they put the stones in. All right, come on. Up. Here's your piers down on the bottom for your two bends. Here's your creek. This would be the south abutment. And going down through the canyon towards 17D. And this was back in '88 when we went through it. You can see the bushes and stuff like that. This is what it looked like 2 years ago. And then the ditch company came in, and they wanted to clean out the ditch. So they come in with their little backhoe, and they just dug out everything, just threw it up on top of the ground here. And here you can see the two abutments of 17F. And what happened here is that the Corps of Engineers and the environmental people and the state of Nevada and the county of Nevada came out and raised holy hell with them because of all the mercury and everything that's in that dirt. So they're supposed to clean all this up someday. All right, 17E. I said 17D earlier, I meant 17E. So Bridge 17E, Steamboat Creek, this is from the 1949 survey they did. 3-stringer frame trestle, length 72.5 feet, and it gives you the mile points that they used. And it tells you what they were. Estimated cost per foot, same $43. And in the 1949 prices to replace this bridge would be $3,160.50. 1938, Arnold Perry photo of crossing this with the Reno and the two grill cars coming through the canyon. Now, you know, there was a picture of this on eBay the other day, and it just sold $66.66 for that picture. Here's a picture of number 5 coming across. Note the stonework over here on the edge. The abutments and the stonework down here, the piers sitting on that, and there was one pier in the middle of the stream, and then the other piers here. So this is about a 30 degree angle probably coming through here. No guardrails on the rail, but there are guards on the end of the ties here. Another picture of it, I picked up someplace along the line, not a very good picture, but it does show the stonework here. And this is Al Phelps' photo. Al Phelps did a couple trips up on the V&T in the late 40s and took some good pictures of the train. This was a special that they were running at the time. Note the roadway as it crosses over here, comes around here, goes around, comes back over. Here's 17D right back here, so this would be 17E. And here's your telegraph poles right here. Another Al Phelps photograph, same train, just a little bit more on the trestle. And this is a different photograph. But you can notice the stonework, and on here they didn't put an abutments in; they just put a bend up against the rock, against the wall. And then here's your stream down through here. Here's your center bent right here. Al Rose photographed it's Lyman Cox cells. I did find this last time I was over at UNR. This is some work that William Kirk, who was the chief engineer from about 1905 to in the, 30s, Stephen? I think 1930, somewhere around that time. He was working, trying to do some work on the bridge. This is the only thing I've found so far. It does not have a date, but it does say V&T Railroad 1905 up here, that he is the chief engineer. And here's his signature, William H. Kirk. So I need to look at this a little bit more and try to figure out what he was doing here. We did find this newspaper article dated December 15, 1937. Power shovel is removing debris from V&T track through Washoe Canyon. They had a big storm come through, apparently washed out some of the track work. And one note that they said that this happened about 10 years ago when a dam gave away several miles up in the mountains and they washed out some of the track. So I need to go back and find this article, Charlie.
Are you volunteering?
I looked for it the other day on that thing, but I couldn't get to it, yeah. All right, here, Bridge 17E, the 1915-1916 evaluation. This is the track notes here, and this is what they came up with later. And if you take this here, you take this pier that's in the center, actually this pier is this pier over here. This abutment here is this abutment over here. So it's just a little bit backwards from what you would think that it was. So here's your stonework over here, it shows you your stonework, and it shows you how it was laid out and how the stream came through. So here's your abutments, your two abutments, here's your pier in the middle, here's a pier along the edge of the creek, here's your center pier, and versus basically the same thing on the other end. And the note 17E. Now a little bit closer up with that one drawing that they did. You think 99 years ago that this stuff wouldn't be any worth today. That old saying, well, 100 years from now it's not going to be worth anything. And it is today. Here's the abutment on both ends, and it tells you what the pipes behind it were. And then here's your piers. All the piers were the same height except one, which was an 8 foot. The rest of them are 6 feet. And this is what I've so far come up with. And this, when I get this done, we'll put it in one of the issues of the Telegraph. One of the 1949 photographs showing the deck, and this would be 17E. Note the ties, note the rail, the guardrail on the edges here, and no guardrail in the center. Here's that abutment on the end. Here's your stonework, and here's your abutment piers, and here's your deck behind, or your wood planks behind it. Note here that they've added another bent on the end. There's another view of it taken in 1988. Another view. This is what it looked like, 1988. And here's some guys, one of us, I'm not sure who this is, one of us, on the trestle itself. Notice how it's being held up. Some of the detailed nuts and bolts and washers, spacers in between the deck boards. This is what it looked like a couple of years ago. This is where the bulkhead would have gone right here. Here's your stonework on either side, and coming up, the track would have come up this way. Here's the edge of the stream, and there would have been a bent right in this area right here, and then the bent right here. Mr. Drew, up on the corner there. This is the bulkhead right here where the bulkhead would have been. This is the other leg of that rock wall coming down into the creek coming down through here. Your bulkhead here, here's one of your piers, here's the other pier right here, and here's your stream bed. Stream bed right here, here's that pier on the edge. Here's your center pier, stream coming through here. And after the ditch company came through, this is what's left of it. You can see part of the stonework right here. This has all been pushed down. Another view of it taken after that. All right, 17D, Steamboat Creek, stringer trestle, length of 33.2 feet, stone abutments in good condition, timber deck should be replaced. Total cost of $14.27 to replace this bridge in 1949. There's not too many pictures of this trestle. So here's 17E, right here, with that same picture we had earlier. And right here is 17D, as the road comes around and gets around back through that way. I did find one of Al Phelps's pictures of the train coming out of the canyon. This would have been 17E up here. So here's your roadway coming around. Here's your telegraph poles coming around. Here's the edge of that 17D right here. So if Al had waited a couple more seconds, he would have got the trestle. But somebody was standing next to Al and took this picture. So here is basically the only real good photograph of this trestle with the train on it. And you can note here's your stone wall. You have some braces here, which I'll talk about in a second. No guardrails on the trestle. This is about 10 feet between the two abutments here. So here's your drawings that they did. And so it's 10 feet between the two abutments. So yeah, before the stream comes through, track would run right down through this, so it's at an angle too. This is what it looks like. It doesn't show that cross bracing down below. It does show some rod works going through. And I haven't done anything more on this drawing. This is from the 1949 survey. Here you can see these braces here, which do not show up in the 1917 evaluation. So I'm thinking, and I don't know for sure, that these were added after 1917. This is what it looked like 1988. Here's one of the stringers coming across the stone wall. Here's Stephen a couple of years ago when we got back in there. We took some pictures of it. This is all that's left of it now. Here's where one of the stringers would have come across. Note the angle. And up on the hill, here's a telegraph pole. As far as I know, this is one of the telegraph poles. This would have been going around the corner as you come off of D and go down towards C. And this thing's still up there, believe it or not. And when I was talking to the owners, when we were down there with the Corps of Engineers and stuff, I mentioned this to the owners, and they didn't even know it was up there. And we found a telegraph pole laying in the stream bed. So we got into the water kind of like, a bunch of us, and I drew this up, and it's in your handout there. Stephen didn't want to put this in the newsletter, so I'll give it to you. And walking down towards 17C, we did find some remnants of the wood that's still left. Not too much of it, most of it has been burned up. There's part of a stone wall that's up along the creek edge. All right, we finally get to 17C. 3-stringer trestle, length 46.8 feet, 2 piers cut stone, should be replaced. Cost of it in 1949 would have been $2,012.40. And we come around the canyon. It's kind of hard to get down through here. There's a big hill right here. If you're walking on this side, you have to climb up along the side of the hill here. So not too many people get down this far. We did this back in '88. We did get down here. And if you come along this side, then you're on the other side of the creek, of course. And here's the abutments for the stone brick for 17C. There's the line going around the hill. And this is what's in the valuation reports, showing how the bridge was built, basically pretty much similar to the other ones. I think this might be part of 17D right here. And here's the other information. Here's your 2 piers out in the middle of the stream, and here's your abutments on the end. And this is basically all it was. This is a very low trestle, just sitting right on top of the water. As you can see here, it's not very high up. And here's your 2 piers out in the middle of the stream. 1988, or no, about 2011, 12, somewhere around there. Last time we were down there. And then heading on down through the canyon into Pleasant Valley area. And our next speaker, with Rich Pitter, who's going to talk on the Carson trestle, did an article in the December 1996 NMRA bulletin on the trestles of Washoe Canyon. And if you can get a copy of that today, I think you can go back into, I think NMRA has this on disc probably. You can probably find this article, very good article that Rich did back in 1996 on the trestles. All right, the valuation survey, 1915-1917, G.W. Wells, chief engineer out of San Francisco. I think he worked for Southern Pacific Company. They were the ones that came in and did all this work. University of Nevada Special Collections has the cross-section books and the ICC valuation notes, and also Kent has these on his website. The California State Railroad Museum has copies of Mark Owens' VT and survey books that he donated to the museum. Report of the survey on conditions of right-of-ways, properties, and auxiliary structures, December 1948 to February 1949, Stephen Drew collection, and notes and photographs from Stephen Drew. Rich Pitter, the NMRA bulletin of December 1992, Special thanks to the Nevada Land Trust and the owners for letting us into the property. And please note that this is private property, and do not trespass on it unless you get permission from, either you can talk to the Nevada Land Trust, or you can talk to the owners. They'll probably let you in. It is kind of dangerous now with all that dirt that the dish company put up in there. The Nevada Land Trust, we've been working with them a little bit, and what we want to do is they want to put a trail down through there. And they were starting to do that before these guys came in and tore up the ditch with their little tractor. But anyway, one of these days we hope to put a trail down through there, and we will help them with identifying the sites and things like that. So thank you very much. Any questions?
Mike, was the road that runs through the canyon, was that the predecessor to 395 back before that was built?
It was a wagon road. There was a mill back in there at one time, and I think.
Tailings mill.
Huh?
It was a tailings mill.
Yeah, tailings mill.
The railroad came through and blocked the road.
Yeah, when the railroad came through, they took out the mill basically. And I'm not sure if that road went all the way down. It might have been the original road. I'm not sure.
I believe that was the road until we went up on the Lakeview.
You think that was the original road and it went down
Not
to?
Lakeview Hill.
Huh?
I said until they went over Lakeview Hill. I don't mean Lakeview. I think that was the original road until 1924 when the concrete highway went in.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I have there's pictures of that cement road when they were building it, I think, yeah. 1924 you said one of them?
It was in the early 20s.
Yeah, yeah. So that could have been the original road, yeah, yeah.
The trestles are identified by 17 plus a letter. Is the 17 a mileage marker or something?
Yeah, I think they started from Reno, and that's actually milepost 16 point something. Yeah. So I think each mile, then they would identify, A, B, C, D, and they do that today. I know on the White Pass, the same thing every mile, and it's bridge A, bridge B, bridge C for that mile. Yeah, but actually this mileage point is 16 point something.
Remember, the first mile is the first section. So the first section ends at mile 1.
Okay, that's the reason then. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any idea what the weight of the rail was?
They started out with 56-pound rail and then went to 60-pound rail. Yeah. And there is even some 56-pound rail in the 30s. Yeah, I've seen some information on that.
Mike, how different were the very first construction from the 1870s to what we see today?
Well, all I go back to is 1917, okay? Stephen has indicated that some of the abutments were rebuilt around 1905, so that's a possibility, yeah. I haven't really got back into the research. Looking at the newspapers, it doesn't really say too much about how they were constructed, yeah. So most of my information is dated from 1917, yeah.
Yeah, I think the original road crossed the tracks about 7 times.
About 7 times? Okay, yeah. I have no idea, yeah. That's a good number, yeah. All right. Okay, John?
Thank you, Mike. That was wonderful. I think a lot of us are probably taking the opportunity